Hello, Legion, it's Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Stellaris MegaCorp in our Roma Galactica II series. We are looking at the backside of an important planet, but a planet that won't necessarily be important for several episodes. And that is Sirius 3, orbiting the binary system of Sirius, the binary star. It's not orbiting the system, it's orbiting the star. It's part of the system of Sirius A. Actually, it's orbiting both of them, Sirius A and B. It's kind of different from our other trinary star here because these stars actually have individual orbiters. So it's interesting the way that, you know, the binary and trinary star systems have been added in Stellaris. Sometimes they can be coupled and sometimes they are not. But Sirius 3 is what we would have formerly called a 22-slot tundra world. Of course, slots don't exist anymore because we are playing 2.2. But I thought I would spend the beginning of this episode looking at some of our prospective colonies that will be, you know, important in the future. We can't terraform Sirius 3 yet, but when we can, it's right next door to Sol, and we will definitely be adding that to our territory. I was kind of combining that thought with the very next thing that I was going to say, which is they, meaning Paradox, will hopefully, at some point in the future, and I've mentioned this in my past Stellaris series, it's kind of a pet peeve as someone who is passively familiar with the night sky. I really hope that they will one day make it to where Sirius and Procyon are actually spawned on the same side of Earth. I won't go into that whole rant again because I've subjected my Stellaris viewers to it a couple of times, but if you've been here, you've heard me say it before, and I really hope that they eventually get to a point where, at least with the recognizable stars, like the one, Sirius, and the one preceding the one, Procyon, that's what it means, eventually they'll have them spawn to where, like, Lictabon here, this should be Procyon. I mean, because these stars are next to one another in the night sky, but here they're... Okay, I'm going on the rant again, I've got to stop. Next colony, Kephoth 3. Another 17-slot tundra world. Let's take a look at Kephoth. I haven't looked much over here. This almost looks like it would be a terraforming candidate, but it's not. It's kind of a Mars-like world. That is really frustrating. I guess I'll just single-click and then use the Q key instead. Yeah, Kephoth 3 will be our next world, and there is a giant rock between the Sun and Kephoth 3. I wonder if eventually they'll actually have stars orbiting in motion, or planets orbiting in motion in Stellaris. That would be an interesting thing to do. They already have them revolving, or rather rotating. Why not have them revolving? You know, would be an interesting choice. And then of course we have these two down here. We have Albiskuk 3A and 3. So it looks like a planet and its moon are also going to be eventual terraforming candidates. Not quite as big as the others. And then we have up here, I think, a few more. We've got the Bintu system. We have a 14-slot Alpine world here. Worth taking a look at. Around a Class K star with a barren little moon. Small atmosphere, as a matter of fact. Speaking of terraforming candidates, we will absolutely be terraforming Mars at some point as well. So, have they added, by the way, somebody let me know in the comments, because I don't know and I haven't terraformed Mars in-game in a while. Have they added a Mars texture yet for the terraformed planets? To where when you terraform Mars, it actually looks... I mean, yes, this looks like Mars. But when you terraform Mars, it never looks like Mars, and it drives me absolutely batty. Have they added that yet? I don't know. Anyway, we're 3 minutes in. Let's go ahead and jump into a new episode, shall we? Colonia Aurora has room for a new building, but it looks like we could probably, you know, get something built, because we are about to have a new pop before long, and we are at our job limit. So right now we have civilian industries built. This planet is already using some of its advanced jobs to turn minerals into consumer goods. We could use a little bit more energy production, to tell you the honest truth. So I will probably go ahead and build some additional generators. And we are already upgrading the planetary administration here as well. By the way, I've made a decision that when we make this upgrade, we're no longer going to have Colonia preceding the names of planets. I thought that would be a fun roleplay element for the series. So this will be called Aurora once it's fully upgraded into a properly established planet. You know, it's not merely a colony anymore, it is its own world. Granted, it's still, you know, loyal to Rome, but I thought that would be a fun little roleplay element. So soon it will no longer be called Colonia Aurora. Would be a good way for us to distinguish which planets are developed and which are not. And we can keep track of it fairly easily. So let's see. Yeah, that generator district is enough for now. And of course we have a couple of stations. We've built the Aja station here, and this one definitely needs a trade hub so it can collect that trade value, which will help with my energy situation for sure. And then the question is, do I need to do anything else out here? The Thrad station, not so much. What did I have at the Sol shipyard? I've got a crew quarters there. The Thrad station, I could do, because that's an entry point system, I could do a communications jammer. I could do a disruption field generator. Or just a target uplink computer. Let's go ahead and do a communications jammer for now. And we might change that a little bit later on. One thing I want to check really quickly. Alright, upkeep is 1 energy. I can handle that. I can handle that. And then the Aja station we won't worry about for now because I don't necessarily know that we are going to have that much to do defensively there. So, we have our science ship investigating the Helium system, which we were just starting to take a look at the end of the previous episode. Helium 1, this is a totally barren system. Barren planet, barren planet, barren planet. Similarly barren and a class M. The most common star in the universe. Does provide me a little bit of energy, which we are... Interesting. It's showing that as green as if we're harvesting it, but we're totally not. By the way, quick thing I'm going to change, and thank you to those of you in the comments who pointed this out. I'm going to turn on planets in the outliner, and now I can actually see developing colonies, like Colonia Antiocha, which is formally established now. But when I turn off planets, and I'm not sure why it was turned off, but because I guess the new patch just starts it by default turned off. But now I can see sectors, which will show me the Earth sectors and the Antioch sectors, which is pretty nice. We're going to keep that closed. This will show me all of my planets. And we're going to go with that view going forward. Let's go to speed 2 and let our science ship explore Helium. Meanwhile, Classis 1 is on its way back. Found. Did you say anomaly or anomaly? I'm not sure I heard you. There are signs of activity by an ancient precursor civilization on this asteroid. Leave be for now. Okay, so we're already checking into that one. Debris has been analyzed. We looked at that. Timed project. Where else? Alright, we have a construction ship on the way to that. A fusion reactor. Oh, good. That'll be a nice upgrade. Okay, I think it's time to go for field modulation. Energy credits from technicians. That's going to be done in 23 months, and that should absolutely help me on a couple of different fronts. Wow, that is incredibly expensive. You really do have to upgrade your production of these various parts in order to be... Hang on, let's take a look at this together. Which parts are requiring... I'm just curious where the exorbitant costs are coming from. Oh, you know what it might be? Hang on. No? Why the uptick in, like, gas costs to upgrade these ships? What's the deal there? I mean, look at this. And yes, this is not a rhetorical question. Talk to me in the comments. This doesn't make sense. Why the... It's showing a negative value there. Is that a bug? That almost has to be a bug. It's gotta be. Yeah, I'm calling it. That's a bug. We can still talk about it in the comments, but that's a bug. Alright, Colonia Aurora does have room for a new building. We've got a generator district coming. I don't know that we need to do another building right now, but doing so would provide some of my workers the ability to move up, which isn't necessarily the worst thing. An energy grid could be the way to do it as well. Just provides one technician job. But as soon as it's being worked by one technician, the energy credit, the energy upkeep of the entire planet, or the energy output, I should say, the entire planet, goes up, which is a pretty nice option. I think I'll wait, though, because I would rather finish this upgrade and do research labs, to where that first colony can be contributing to our research in a positive sense. And I'm sure that'll make you guys happy. Our crew aboard the RSS Gallus report that the Helum shipwreck appears to have been the result of an unexpected geomagnetic solar storm. The supply ship suffered a complete loss of life support systems and sustained inoperable damage, drifting until it entered Helum's gravity well. There are no survivors. The ship's cargo hold does indeed contain a notable amount of minerals. However, the captain of the RSS Gallus cautions that the construction indicates Ikanan design. It is highly likely that the minerals belong to the Ikanan Citizen League, and they may be displeased should we lay claim to their shipment. That's not a lot of minerals, and we have a ton of minerals. Let's go ahead and return them, and this will grant us some additional influence. All right, we can in fact see that there are resources available around Helum. All right, we have got... found. Nice. Unusual reading suggests there may be more. Okay, so we have an opinion modifier with them, and we got some influence. Very nice. There may be more to this desolate world than meets the eye. Research. Okay, so the Ikanans are continuing to lay claim to us, even though they just got a positive opinion modifier with us. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and reinforce this fleet. Add an additional ship to it. We're almost back up to full strength there. And go back to speed 3. Yep. So let's take a quick look at the claims map mode. Keep things paused, because we need to keep an eye on... Where is... I haven't used the claims map mode that much. Pretty cool that you can turn the hyperlanes on and off like that. There's the sectors map mode. I mean, I guess... Yeah, the claims view. There it is. So can I not see claims made on me? I thought I could. I'm going to go ahead and lay claim to these systems as a means of saying, hey, if you dare come my way, you're going to be in trouble. It looks like the DIS hierarchy is expanding rather ambitiously into this part of the galaxy. And someone actually noted in the comments, you know, that we might want to check them, but it's going to be difficult to check them because we can't get up there. We haven't discovered a way into the Arija patch, into that arm of the galaxy just yet. And we're still taking advantage of the fact that we can move all the way over here. So let's go ahead and make these claims for now. Just sort of put a check on them a little bit and say, hey, you declare war on us, we're going to declare war on you.
Special project complete.
The RSS Parthia has successfully restored power to the automated shipyard over Frary 2. The facility immediately resumed its interrupted construction order, using what materials it had on hand to build an advanced frigate of unknown design. Unfortunately, the ancient facility broke down completely afterwards and has been deemed beyond repair. We have sent a crew to the new ship and pressed it into service within our fleet. So now we have a frigate and a cruiser. So we have a destroyer class and a cruiser class backing us up. One thing I was going to say as I began this episode, I've had a few people, not many, but a few people in the comments be like, hey, when are we going to start fighting? Look, we have been fortunate enough. I want to explain my thinking here. Not everyone's going to agree with my thinking. That's one of the beautiful things about strategy games, and especially grand strategy, is that you have many different options for how you can approach different situations. So before I read this, situation here. So in a normal game of Stellaris, when we had, these two enemies fighting next door, especially when they just made peace and there's this kind of feeling of, okay, one of them might be declaring on me kind of soon, I would say, yeah, it's too risky to focus on expanding out this direction and devoting all my resources that way, because while we're doing that, they could be ready to declare war on us, and then we could find ourselves in trouble. However, speaking of those ships that I have, I've got a free cruiser and now a free destroyer. That gives me a little bit more defensive power than I would in the typical Stellaris early game. So yes, we are going to conquer these guys. Some of you who have, or many of you, maybe all of you who watched Roma Galactica 1, might remember that something somewhat similar happened. It wasn't the exact same set of circumstances in the first Roma Galactica, but there were aliens nearby that we were aiming to conquer for a while, but there were other priorities. And if it was more advantageous to attack the Ikanans or the DIS hierarchy right away, rather than expand into space before other empires that might be in this area get to it, then I would do it. But given that we have the extra defenses afforded to us by these ships, the free cruiser and the free destroyer, the ability to defend ourselves a little better than we would otherwise, I am going to, well, relax. And we're going to move out this direction and add some of this to our territory. We, again, are not yet at our administrative cap. We will be actually in one more point, but we will be able to raise the administrative cap as well. So that's something that we will do when the time is right. And we're going to keep adding systems out this direction, maybe even colonies if we are fortunate enough to do so. So Nestled in sheltered pockets across Helium-3 surface is a rich sludge of simple organic compounds that our researchers believe could be a hotbed for abiogenesis, the spontaneous formation of organic life from lifeless matter. Helium-3 has an unusually thick atmosphere for a barren world, which could make it hospitable for simple life forms. Although this presents a unique opportunity to study what could be the early stages of the origin of life, it would be best to set our expectations low, as it may still be millions of years before life evolves naturally on Helium-3, if at all. Fascinating.
Anomaly found.
Okay, there are signs of activity by an ancient precursor civilization in Takharum. Takharum 6, as a matter of fact, on this inhospitable rock. Now, construction-wise, where are we? Several planets native to Colonia Antiocha, where we recently established a colony, exude copious amounts of a pollen with an astounding chemical complexity. Hey, it's Mar and Karin. A special research project has been prepared for further study of this flora. Curious. All right, let's take a second. One thing I want to do. Yeah, we'll just do the Sol station. We're going to build a new construction ship, and we're going to need to sell some stuff in order to do it. Could have just clicked 1,000 for that matter. I will go ahead and do that, actually. And let's buy. There we go. My construction ships that are working over here, I would prefer that they continue to do so. So, that's what I'm doing. We do have room for more buildings on Earth.
Special project complete.
Several more jobs than pops, though, so we'll probably wait for a second. We managed to stop the excavator before it broke down. It's a remarkable piece of machinery with a smooth surface covered in diamonds. At first glance, the whole drill seems like one solid piece, but it's simply so well put together that you cannot notice the grooves and joints. Our engineers will be able to reverse engineer some of this technology. So we have the geothermal fracking technology, and we got a little bit of progress.
System reconnaissance completed.
Very nice. Okay.
Construction complete.
Here's our new construction ship, and we need to go ahead and add that system to our territory. We need to get up there fairly quickly, actually. All right, why don't you go ahead and research that, please? I'm really hoping we get there first. I'm actually a little bit annoyed. I thought I had a construction ship on standby. I must have called them away, kind of absent-mindedly. Somewhat regretting that. Okay, so this is now the colony of Aurora. Youth listening post. We've discovered several massive listening arrays on Takharum 6. These arrays are millions of years old, and we believe that they were originally built by the Ute. This is the precursor race that we're dealing with. Though it appears at least one other alien civilization repurposed them at some point in the last 500,000 years for their own needs. The colossal receiving dishes are beyond repair, but some terminals are intact. Intriguing.
System reconnaissance completed.
All right, good. So you should be going into auto explore, or you already are in auto explore mode. Good.
Special project complete.
Mar and Karin, pistol pondering. On closer examination, the plants native to Colonia Antiocha turn out to be rather dull. Some excrete pollen that have a mild stimulating effect, and they're likely to have a propensity for rapid genetic change. Hardly impressive enough to warrant adopting as a strategic or luxury resource. Society gained 150. Society research gained, rather. Okay, so we have looked into that, and I'm going to send you on a survey mission here, and then put you on Auto Explorer after that, so you're kind of in this area.
Complete.
It looks like we do have some anomalies that might be worth checking out. Some anomalies. I'll keep that alive, if I can. That's our inside joke, I think. What was it? Dynastic Divinity? That one came from? Anomaly researched. Anomaly found. I would like to clear the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. I really would. Okay, so the trade hub here has been built, and notice it's now collecting trade value. So I could do another trade hub, which would, once we add the Takharum system, that would allow me to collect from both here and here, and potentially systems out this way as well. I feel like that's probably a good idea. Let's go ahead and do that. And this will prove my theory of whether or not we can harvest that trade value with this trade hub just by... Well, it won't prove the theory, it will support the theory. That's the correct language, right? Of whether or not that works that way. And I'm pretty sure that is the way it works, but I just haven't seen it work in action, literally, since we figured that out. Long-term exposure to the pollen naturally occurring on Colonia Antiocha's atmosphere acts on the colonists' pheromone receptors with a mild aphrodisiac effect, accompanied by a barely perceptible high. The plant that produces the most potent strain is a flower common to all areas of the planet, squirreled away into some obscure taxonomic nook by scientists on Colonia Antiocha, but known in the local human dialect as Marin Karin. We cannot allow mind-altering particles in the atmosphere. I'm not going to deal with Marin Karin. Sorry. Got too much at stake. We've got 2 neighboring empires. I'm going to relax. Also, we have an energy issue. We really, really do. I think I need to go ahead and go for the research labs here, which is going to add to my energy deficit, ironically. But we're going to deal with that. We're just going to let it be. I think I will, though, add an energy grid to Earth, because that makes sense. Earth is producing not a lot of energy at the moment, but as more pops grow, it will produce more. All right, we have access to destroyers. We're not going to do too much. We're not going to do too much with that just yet. But let's see, we can exploit this resource if we found it. And have we found it? I can't recall. I don't think we have. Yes, we have. Okay, so there are exotic gases available to us if we go for that now. Better Corvette build speed, more minerals from miners. I can exploit that resource. Man, there's so many choices. We've found amounts of both of these resources, so the question is really which one do we want first, or do we want the railgun first? Why don't we go for... Let's go for mode harvesting. And then we also have to do something here. Regenerative hull tissue sounds very appealing. So does increased naval capacity. Yeah, let's increase our naval capacity. And we almost have an energy boost from our physics research that we've been looking at for a bit. So that is helpful. And let's see what else we can do here. Let's see. Adding that would... You know what? I would rather have you come here to Takaram, because there's some energy production there, and there's some in Valdop as well.
A new breakthrough.
Nice. All right, so we'll see if that helps with our energy situation next month. We won't see an update to that for a second. All right, physics research from researchers, so this would be the next level in that boost. Cold fusion reactor, basic combat roles, or barrier point defense. Have I designed a point defense frigate yet? I don't think I have. Let's do basic combat roles. That's a good defensive move to make, I think. All right, so the second trade station in Aja is about to go up, and we should see this disappear momentarily.
Construction complete.
Assuming that we are right.
Construction
Boom!
complete.
There it is. So the +1 is in fact meaningful. Every now and then you can't trust... This is like blasphemy to say, but every now and then it's true. You can't trust a tooltip in Paradox, because there's so much information that they try to encode in all of these that, you know... it can be problematic for, you know, actually understanding the finer points of the game. But in this case, I think we can trust them. Let's go ahead and go for the mining station and the research station there. Now, we will eventually have to upgrade these ships, but it's going to be a long time before we can do so. We also can't afford to reinforce the fleet because we're too busy expanding elsewhere. That's fine. Our naval capacity has increased, which is nice. Actually, no, it's not our naval capacity, it's our command limit. What made our command limit go up? I missed that. Let me take a quick look at edicts while I'm thinking about it. I seriously don't know what made that go up. All right, capacity overload. I could do this, and this would absolutely help with my energy situation. Also, research grants would be helpful. This would consume almost all my influence, though. Why don't we just do research grants for now? We're going to leave our energy unboosted. We can always do diplomatic grants as a way to kind of keep the other empires off of our back. Yeah, our current opinion with these guys is not particularly great. So that might buffer any downward trend at the very least. Or that's the idea. Alright, our science ships are in position. Raltec warriors sighted. For several months now, we have received scattered reports of small numbers of alien mercenaries and privateers operating on the frontiers of our space. They call themselves the Raltec, and are apparently exiles from a nomadic warrior culture inhabiting overcrowded space stations in and around the Nyamba system. Don't know where that is. Their passage near our space proceeded without incident, but they warned us against trespassing in Niamba. There is no Raltec central government to speak of, but the various factions are engaged in constant infighting and often launch raids against neighboring star systems. Indeed, given their vast population and space-based production capability, oh, there they are. The Raltec would likely be a significant galactic power if they ever stopped killing each other. Attempt to contact them. Outsiders, we are the Raltec. Unlike the civilized star nations of the galaxy, we have no single master to lord over us, but I have been chosen to convey this message to you on behalf of all the houses. Do not try to impose your soft and effete ways upon us. You may freely send your alien ships into Raltec territory, but do not expect them to return. Our warriors will welcome the diversion, however. Transmit on this frequency only if you wish to offer tribute, or if you have need of mercenaries, as well as the means to pay for them. End transmission. Okie dokie. Space foxes. Complete. Space foxes? Star foxes? One of the two. As punishment for losing a duel, it has been decreed that I am to deal with all outsiders this cycle. So we can hire a leader, and we can also say, go raid some people. You have no rivals. What are you talking about? I rivaled both of them. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember. They both became ineligible at some point. So we can now pay them. Hang on. Let's see how this goes here. We're gonna take a quick look at some stats. All right, so they're equivalent to us. The dis hierarchy is also equivalent. They're very, very similar in both ways. Which poses more of a threat? These guys can technically come in from two separate directions. Well, so can they. Actually, it's the dis hierarchy that I might be somewhat more threatened by, because they can come in here and here, whereas these guys, they have to come to Matsonia and then they can split off. That's slightly different. We could take Matsonia and take away their attack objectives, so I feel somewhat more bothered by these guys. And with that in mind, I'm actually going to make some claims. Let's see. There we go. Alright, so those claims have been made. Now let's talk to these friendly people. Alright. Ridiculously expensive, as I was guessing. So we're going to have to build up our energy to make that happen. And that's fine. We'll do what we can. You are building a starbase there, I believe.
Construction complete.
So now I would like you to build a starbase there, and then you can build mining stations and a research station. And on that note, I will go ahead and stop this episode here. In the next one, we are going to move quickly out into this area of space. Now that we've met these Marauders, things got a little bit more interesting. We've made some claims. We kind of laid the foundations for some future moves, and we locked down the helium system, which is really quite nice. Now we just have to really finish off our energy deficit once and for all, which is really just going to require some population growth on Earth, and I think that will be fine, because we have a number of jobs that aren't yet being worked. So as soon as these districts have been filled, we should be okay energy-wise. We already have an energy grid, and it looks like it's already being worked. If I go to specialists, we can see, where are you? Actually, no, it is not being worked yet. Interestingly enough. It's a technician job. Okay, so maybe it is being worked. That's right. So if it's technician... Yeah. So it's just a standard worker, not a specialist that works it. So that boost is already being granted to us. But yeah, in the next one, we're going to continue pushing out this direction and see where that takes us. Words. I'm going to learn also how to speak the English language in the next episode, apparently. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every other day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.